When it comes to food, Mom always used to tell me I was really difficult to feed as a toddler because I was picky and it always took a long time to feed me. She used to tell me stories about how hard it would be, how she would have to pretend that the spoon was an airplane to get me to even take the food into my mouth, how I'd often spit it out and it'd take a long time for me just to finish a meal. These days, to be honest, feeding Mom is one of the hardest things because she doesn't always recognize food anymore, and she needs to be reminded and coaxed to chew and swallow. But to be honest, besides getting her to actually eat, often one of the hardest things when it comes to Mom's meal times are the memories it brings back. See, a lot of us don't realize when we've experienced the last of something, when we move on to the next stage of life until we moved on past it and can never go back again. Think about the last time our parents ever picked us up and held us in their arms, or the last family vacations we would go on together, or in this case, the last time Mom would be able to make a meal for me herself. There was a time about a year ago when her dementia was starting to get worse, when she came outside after me as I was getting in the car getting ready to leave. It was probably the disease that caused her to run out into the street without putting her shoes on, coming after me in what almost seemed like hurried panic. I remember being super annoyed at the time because I was just trying to leave and here she comes running out barefoot only to have her tell me that she had left food on the table for me for when I got back. Thinking back now and remembering how I was annoyed at her in that moment just utterly breaks me. Even when her mind was beginning to slip, she was still thinking about me, and even though she couldn't know or remember to put on shoes to come outside, she could still remember to give me her love by preparing me food and reminding me to eat. These days, feeding times are often super tough as she is losing her ability to even recognize how to chew and swallow. It sometimes takes trying and retrying just to get her to take one mouthful of food, and another 10 minutes or more to get her to recognize that she needs to chew and swallow. But even though it's hard and sometimes frustrating beyond words, something that I've realized is I can honestly say that I feel so honored and so overwhelmingly grateful and thankful that I have this opportunity to care for my mom in this way. It's hard to describe how this feeling of futile frustration can exist hand in hand with this unyielding desire to care for her. How these opposite feelings somehow come together in these moments of feeding her, like two sides of the same coin that can never see each other but are closer together than ever could be. And so as these meal times start to last longer and longer, to be honest, I feel frustrated, but somehow I also feel this sense of peace as I recognize that my own patience is growing at the same time. I remember one of the last times Mom was still somewhat mobile and coherent. I asked her what she wanted to do that day, whether she wanted me to take her on a walk outside or sit and listen to some music. She told me she wanted to go into the kitchen and work, and I asked her half-laughingly what kind of work in the kitchen she meant, and she said, "I want to make you lunch." She did it because she couldn't, but that just shows you my mom's heart. Her heart was always thinking about us and how to take care of us and love us more. So even though it's hard, and I know it's going to get harder from here, I will never forget those times. This is my chance to love her in return.